Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we covered how to create EC2 instance using the AWS CLI, how to find the right AMI for your need. If you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend checking it out. The link is in the description below. Now in today's video, we are going to manage the complete lifecycle of an EC2 instance. Create, start, stop, reboot and terminate. All from the command line. But more importantly, I'm going to show you two powerful flags. This will completely change how you read your CLI output, query and output table. Trust me, once you start using this, you will never want to go back reading raw JSON again. Before we run any command, let me quickly explain why these two flags matter. By default, when you run AWS CLI command, it returns the response in JSON format. Now, JSON is great scripting and automation. But when you are working interactively or doing demo, it's honestly a bit overwhelming. There is just too much information on the screen. That's where query comes in. It allows you to filter and extract only the specific field you care about using a query language. And when you combine that with output table, AWS CLI render your result in clean readable table format. So here our run instance command, most of this should look familiar from the last video. We are specifying the region, AMI ID, instance type and many more. But look at the query flag here. We are pulling out exactly 5 fields: the instance ID, name, private IP, availability zone and the launch time. Nothing more, nothing less. And with the output table at the end, all of that get printed in a beautiful table right in your terminal. Go ahead and run this. You will see something like neat little table with your brand new instance detail. No more digging through hundreds of lines of JSON just to find your instance ID. Now let's say your instance is in stop state and you want to start it. Here is the start-instance command. Notice the query here. We are fetching instance ID and the current state. So the moment you run this, the table will show you that the instance is moving into the pending state, confirming that the start operation has been triggered successfully. Stopping an instance. Same pattern here. We run stop-instance and the query returns the instance ID and the current state, which will show as stopping. This is really useful when you are managing multiple instances because at a glance, you know exactly what happened to which instance. Now for rebooting, there is something interesting to notice. The reboot instance command does not return any instance state information. So its response, there is no meaningful query to add here. If you want to verify the reboot, you can follow up with the describe instance command. And finally, terminating. This is the permanent shutdown of your instance. So always double check your instance ID before running this one. The query here gives you back the instance ID current state, which will show as shutting down. Once it's terminated, that instance is gone for good. So use this one very carefully. I have logged into my AWS console and you can see here I am in US East 1 region and there are no instances running on it. Okay, let me refresh the screen. I have already filled the PowerShell command in my Windows PowerShell ISC console, so we won't wait our time. So here we are using the EC2-run instance command, which is used to create an instance. Here we are giving the -- count 1. Reason we are giving US1. Then we have to put the email ID here and the security group information. We are using the T2 micro and here tag we are using the new the parameter where we are going to assign the name tag, and then we are saying here my server name will be my server. If you want to give more tag, then you have to repeat this key and the value, so it will take the more tags. Here we are using the query instance any the instance which is created by this command. Then instance ID, we are saying that okay, return the name. Then private IP, we are using the private IP address parameter. Then availability zone placement, we are using the availability zone information. And then launch time, here we are using the same launch time parameter. That is the output of the JSON format that we are extracting here. And then we are putting that information in the table. Okay, so let me do the console again. Click on the launch instance. Here you will find the AMI ID. I'm giving the security group. And now I'm running the command. USH1, one count. And you can see here, run instance and the availability zone, it have created instance in USH1B. Okay. And then this is the instance ID EAD6. Okay. So let's verify that information here. I'll cancel this one and I'll refresh. And you can see here the instance ID is matching with this. Okay. You can see here the instance ID and the tag name that we had given, it have created the instance with the same name. Now instance is already started, right? So we will use the stop instance command to make it stop. So I'm here changing the command stop hyphen instance, and then the instance ID what we have got right from here, I'll copy that and then I'll put it here. Okay. And then here I'm using the query stopping instances because it should give the output, right? And USH1, everything good. Now the instance is in running state, initializing, but we will set it down. And you can see here, the instance ID state is not stopping. Okay, so let's go here. Let me refresh. And you can see here the stopping. Okay, now my instance is completely stopped. I'll go here and I'll change the command. So you have to change the query according to your command as well. Okay, start. Starting instance. Okay, uh, perfect. I'm running this command. Okay, now I'm getting the output as pending because it is starting the instance. Let me refresh. And you can see here it is in running state. Okay. So let me see the screen. Okay, it is on login screen. Let me go back here on the instances. Let me copy the public IP address and then we'll use the continuous ping button for the reboot option. Okay, so -t and -t. Okay. Okay, the package is enable. Fine. So this is a continuous ping of that, right? And let me change here. Let me copy the command because reboot command don't give the output. Okay, so we cannot use the query command. Okay. Reboot. Okay, then instance. And then we can try to give output table, but I know nothing will be there. Okay, output table. And let's verify. Okay, initializing. Ping is there continuously. And let me reduce the size of it so we can see what is happening at all the stage. And I'm running the reboot instance command. Okay, our command successfully ran. Now we'll monitor the ping packets if there is any drop. Okay, you can see here, request timeout. Okay, so there is one drop because now the instance is rebooting and then it is come back again. Okay, so this is how it is. It started rebooting. And now we will see the final stage of terminating instances. Okay, so let me go back to our previous screen. And then here we will use the terminate command. Terminate, and here we will change the query terminating. Okay, then we are good. And as you've seen here, right, the reboot command do not give any output, and then we have to use a describe command. So describe command is getting the information about the instance, and then we have to use the the additional parameter there, like what is the state of the instance and everything, as we had seen in the last video. Okay, so let me terminate the instance now. Okay, it is 2x2 checks passed. Okay, so terminating instance id region, and then okay, fine, and then I'll run this command. Okay, now current state is shutting down, but it will be changing to terminated. Okay, so we'll refresh this. And you can see here now the instance has been terminated successfully. Okay, so we covered the full EC2 instance lifecycle from creating to terminating, and the more importantly, we learned how to use query and output table to get a clean readable output from every AWS CLI command. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please put that into the comment box and I'll try to answer that. Thank you.